Now, Buckingham Palace has announced His Majesty King Charles will take part in commemorations marking the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The ceremonies are scheduled to take place at Normandy in France next month. He'll be accompanied by Queen Consort Camilla and Prince William. Now, this will be the first time he is to travel overseas since starting cancer treatment, marking another step forward in his return to public engagements. Well, joining me now is the royal broadcaster and commentator, Rafe Heydel-Mankoo. Rafe, thank you very much for your company as ever. Why is it so important that His Majesty is there to mark these commemorations 80 years on from D-Day?
Yeah, it's hugely important, I think, and it's great news to see that he is going to be representing the nation there, because it simply wouldn't have been the same for our head of state and the Commander-in-Chief of British Armed Forces not to be at this international event, which is going to gather together 25 heads of state. And for some of our viewers who may not be too familiar with D-Day, you know, June the 6th, 1944, D-Day, formerly known as Operation Neptune, saw the largest seaborne invasion in world history when 150,000 British, Canadian and American troops crossed the Channel in 7,000 vessels to land at a 50-mile beach in Normandy and start Operation Overlord, which was the fight back against the Nazis to liberate France, Western Europe, open up a second front and eventually lead to the defeat of Nazi Germany. So a hugely important event. There are events taking place on the 5th and 6th of June, both in the UK and in France, and I've been attending these events every decade since 1984 when I was a child, for 40 years now, and every decade it's sad to see the number of veterans diminishing. Just 5 years ago there were 255 attending, now there are only about 20 who are going over to France, so this will probably be the very last time you'll have an event with veterans attending, so very important for the King to attend. As you say, this is the King's first overseas visit since his cancer diagnosis, so another very important landmark in his treatment, and it comes on the back of a very busy few days actually when His Majesty has been undertaking a huge raft of events, having been given the green light by his doctors.
Yes, so can we take from this, can we infer from this that His Majesty the King being fit, well and ready to attend these very important commemorations, that actually he's on the path to getting better?
It would seem so, although his consort, the Queen, has said that if he behaved better, he'd be improving far more rapidly. I think she might be a bit stressed at the number of activities she's done. I mean, just in the last week, he went to Middle Wallop in Hampshire, to an air base, to hand over to Prince William the Colonelcy-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps. He's presided at an investiture. He has hosted a garden party for 4,000 people from the creative industries. He's attended a service at St Paul's Cathedral for the Order of the British Empire, and he made a surprise visit to the Royal Opera House on Thursday, when he seemed to be in very good spirits too. So I think we should all take some good heart from His Majesty's clear progress. Yeah,
and just to touch on the D-Day once more, how important is the relationship between the armed forces, veterans of the armed forces as well, and the head of state, the monarch? How important is that connection between those two bodies?
It's vitally important because, of course, the King is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The oath of loyalty, the oath of allegiance is to the sovereign. It is the King's commission that you take, and essentially, you know, it is the monarch, not the government, to whom loyalty is pledged, and that's vitally important in our country. And of course, it's one of the great checks that we actually do have against a potentially despotic government, for example. And of course, because of that bond, that's why all members of the royal family, or many members of the royal family, serve in one of the wings of the armed forces, and of course all members of the royal family serve as colonels-in-chief of the regiments. So that connection and that bond going back hundreds of years is very, very important, and of course that's why you see royals present at all military commemorations and ceremonies.
And the Princess of Wales has just been given a role recently, right? Have I got that right?
Well, I mean, she's got many roles.
Yes, but a new one within the armed force. Is it a regiment, or that's been given from? Is it from Prince Harry? Did he have it initially? Or?
That's right. I can't remember the exact specifics of that, but she's also Colonel-in-Chief of the Irish Guards, for example. One of the questions is whether we're going to be seeing the Princess of Wales at Trooping the Colour, which is, of course, when all of the Guards regiments do take place. Last year, she was there resplendent in a green dress, and we'll wait to see whether she will also be attending this time or not. But there's been no mention of her attending the D-Day ceremonies, although the Prince of Wales will be attending at the Canadian beach Juno and also at the Omaha beach with the international heads of state. but no word of the Princess of Wales attending that. So I think it's rather unlikely we'll be seeing her at Trooping the Colour.
That's the news we're all waiting for, isn't it? We're all excited for both His Majesty the King and Her Royal Highness being better, in good health, and back doing what they do incredibly well. Rafe, thank you very much for your analysis and insight, as ever.